Welcome to AR Receipt Wizard training video. To log in, click on the About button or Login. To set up your list of instances, click on the three dots. Copy-paste your instance URL and give an alias to the instance. You can also load your list of instances from an initialization file. Refer to this video to know more about this functionality. Select an instance from your list of values, then click Login. Enter your usual Oracle credentials. The wizard will retrieve your list of responsibilities. Select a responsibility and click Continue. You need to select a responsibility that has access to the receipt creation in Receivable. At any time, you can click on the About button here to maintain your users, enter your license key, but also switch to a different responsibility or operating unit. The Setup tab contains links to useful documents like installation and user guide. Click on this link to know more about this wizard. All the functionalities are described here. After opening the wizard and enabling the macros, you can see three extra ribbons on top here, apart from the standard Excel ribbons. All the wizard functionalities are located within these ribbons. You will also find some dataset examples. To start using the wizard, let's create a new sheet with the Morpher Apps template. This wizard provides several modes coming along with templates. With the Create mode, you can create new receipts, but also do invoice application and invoice adjustments. You can apply invoices to existing receipts, unapply receipts, and also do some adjustments on existing invoices without receipts involved. Let's create a new tab with the Create template. The first columns of this template will provide some feedback after validation and upload. Then the clear columns correspond to what you can find in the Oracle form. It's organized by section. You can see the receipt section with the corresponding columns. Descriptive flex fields are also available in our wizard. You can do attachments on your receipts. This is the invoice application section. These dark gray columns are read-only columns. They will provide some more information about the invoice. And finally, you can see also the invoice adjustment section. You can easily tailor this spreadsheet layout, remove the columns that you don't need. You can also move columns around. Now that our template is ready, let's create new receipt. You have multiple options to do that. Let's take a look at some of them. The first option is to download the transactions that we want to pay. Let's copy-paste a list of transaction numbers and use the functionality Download via Sheet. Two download criteria are available here, the customer and the transaction number. We will use the transaction number, but will not include closed transactions. Using this functionality, you can download all the information from the transaction: the outstanding balance, transaction date, transaction class. We have a credit memo and two invoices here. Downloading the transactions first is useful because it will pre-enter the receipt header information. By default, the wizard creates as many receipt headers as transactions downloaded. If you want to create one receipt for those transactions, remove the duplicated headers and keep only one receipt header for your transactions. You have a few options to complete the dataset. You can type the data in. You can use formula. We also provide user forms to enter or complete your dataset. You can bring up these user forms from the main ribbon or by double-clicking on the record you'd like to see. On this user form, all your Oracle setup is retrieved. Your list of values, like currency code, bank accounts, customers, are automatically loaded when logging to your Oracle instance. The yellow fields are mandatory. You can see a Receipt tab and an Application tab. On the Application tab, you can see your different transactions. The outstanding balance is also available here. If you would like to do partial application, put the override flag to yes. You can add a new invoice application by hitting New. You can also enter adjustments. Let's add a new adjustment on the last invoice. By default, the adjustment date and GL date will be set to today. Also, I do not have to enter the GL code because my Oracle setup will default this value. When you close a user form, it performs validation. All levels of this receipt have been validated: the application level, adjustment level, and header level. You can also get your data from an external source, like a remittance advice, any other external report. We have set up a few different scenarios here. We have standard receipts, miscellaneous receipts. Let's take a look at the miscellaneous receipts. You can bring up the user form by double-clicking on the record. Miscellaneous receipts require an activity. You can do a full search using %. During upload, Oracle will derive the distributions based on this activity. You can also put your own GL code at the distribution level. To do that, you can double-click on the record at the miscellaneous distributions level or bring up this user form from the main ribbon. For this second receipt, we're going to put our own GL account. We can always make sure this GL code exists by opening the flex field. We have set up a few other scenarios on account receipts, multi-currency receipts. We have unapplied receipts, but also receipts with lots of transactions. When having multiple transactions on a receipt, you will see only one receipt header for those transactions. If sometimes you need to see as many receipt headers as transactions, you can use this feature to normalize data. This will duplicate your receipt to have as many headers as transactions and make sorting easier. At the end, when wanting to upload, you'll have to normalize data again. You can also accelerate your data entry by using the default values row. Anything you put on this row will default on the blank rows below. This is useful when you are repeating the same value on many receipts. Of course, you can always override this default value by entering something different against some receipts. Now that our dataset is ready, we need to make sure we have the right upload action. We need to choose Create when we want to create a receipt, Invoice application, and Adjustment. Everything will be created at the same time using this upload action. Then we need to choose the Validate option. We can choose to validate only. The data will be validated without being uploaded to Oracle. Or we can choose Validate and Upload. The wizard will start with validation and then upload only the valid records to Oracle. Let's start with Validate only. We have set up this receipt using a remittance advice. We would like to make sure that the amount applied corresponds to the outstanding balance of a transaction. You can get the outstanding balance when you download the transactions like we did for the first scenario, but also when you validate the dataset only. Let's highlight these transactions. You can highlight any column and choose Validate Only. Then choose Upload Selected. It will process only the records you have highlighted. The incorrect records will be highlighted in red. For the correct records, you'll have the transaction information back on the spreadsheet, so you can make sure that the amount applied corresponds to the outstanding balance. You can also see the result of validation on the status columns. Double-click to bring up the user form to correct the error. Here the error message says that this transaction number does not exist. Let's search for the right transaction. When closing the user form, it will perform validation again. When we feel like our dataset is ready, we can choose the Validate option, Validate and Upload. Then you can choose to validate and upload a selection, or upload everything you have on this tab. At the end of this process, you will see some accepted status for the records that have been successfully validated and uploaded to Oracle. You will see some error status for the record that didn't go through. You will also have an error message to help you correct your dataset, and the wrong record will be highlighted in red. You can correct this record by typing the right value, copy-pasting it, or bring up the user form by double-clicking. Use the wildcard percentage to perform a full search and click on the dots to perform the search. Now you can put your cursor on this row and upload your selection. This receipt is now created. Let's take a look at a second error. This time it's on the application level. You can double-click on this error status. It will take you to the error message. Here the message says that this transaction number does not exist. Again, we can bring up the user form to correct this value. This transaction was the only one that was not applied during receipt creation. The receipt was indeed successfully created. Only one application was missing. We can reprocess this application. Put your cursor anywhere on the receipt. Switch to the mode Apply. It will perform application only on existing receipts. And then upload a selection. The invoices previously applied were ignored. Only the missing invoice was applied. Let's take a look at some of these receipts in Oracle. This is the receipt we had created with a credit memo, 2 invoices, and 1 adjustment. This is the receipt we have done multiple applications on. We can also see these existing receipts in the wizard by downloading them. Our wizard offers 2 download options. At the beginning of this training video, we used Download via Sheet to download our existing transactions and create a receipt against them. Now let's use the download form. You have 2 options here, download by receipt or by transaction. Let's download using receipt criteria. Multiple criteria are available here. Let's download the receipts creating during the last few days. Using this functionality, you can then perform some application on existing receipts or an application. Let's unapply a few transactions on this receipt. If we want to unapply only the first transactions, let's remove the other transactions. Then put your cursor anywhere at the receipt header or anywhere on the transaction section. Choose the upload action, unapply, and upload the selection. The wizard starts with validation and then process the unapplication. Let's take a look at this receipt in Oracle. Part of this receipt is now unapplied. The last upload action available in this wizard is the adjustment function. This function allows you to create adjustment on existing transactions as an independent process, which means no receipt will be involved when using this function. Let's bring up a new sheet with this mode. Let's use the download form to download some existing transactions, this time using the transaction criteria. Multiple transaction criteria are available here. Let's put a range of invoice numbers. You can also choose to include existing adjustments on those transactions. The transactions have been downloaded with some information about them on the read-only columns. The existing adjustments have been downloaded with their completion status. Let's create some new adjustments. To do that, you can copy-paste existing values. You can also bring up the user form. Finally, you can use the default values row. Then highlight the records you'd like to proceed and select Upload the selection. The adjustments have been successfully created. The existing one was ignored. Thanks for watching the AR Receipt Wizard training video.